from about half an hour north of Toronto in a little town called Queensville.
Hey everybody, my name is Shara. I am also from Toronto and I'm one of the account executives at Goosechase. I specialize with the K-12 accounts, so I do work with a lot of teachers, principals, schools, and districts on a daily basis, helping them with their Goosechase experience and how to utilize it in the classroom, outside the classroom, and in general. We're going to start things off by playing a little video. Leanne just gave us the quick update that you all already ran your first Goosechase experience. So we are very excited to see and hear how that experience went when you guys played. So we're just going to start things off with a quick video.
Using Goosechase to do this challenge has actually been a very fun, interesting, and great experience. The interface is actually quite easy to use. And we want to thank 21st Century Educators for allowing us to have this fun, healthy competition for the vacation period as 21st Century Educators.
Hello. This experience has been so fun. I have kind of dragged my friends and family into this, like taking pictures of me and like being like, hey, where can I find this? Can you help me find this? And like, can you guide me somewhere? Things like that. So it has been a great experience for me. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Maybe I will do it with my students. Bye.
And just to say a few things about the Goosechase and the challenges. I must say, first of all, the app very, very easy to use. The user experience was excellent. The challenges, they were fun, they were exciting, and I got to relax. I especially like the challenge Take a Dip. Looking forward to the next one.
Huge shout out and a thank you to 21st Century Educators for putting on this scavenger hunt. It's been really great these 2 weeks of getting in on this action. As educators, we normally are the ones planning the activities, so it was great enjoying it from the other end. And getting to use Goosechase as an educator, I can already see ways that my students and their families can get in on the action. So it's been.
So my experience with Goosechase has been a fun experience. I must say that it has brought out creativity. It has had me active, so it encompasses a lot of activity that I can see using in my classroom with my students. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
After really, really easy to use, I enjoyed my time with it. Was able to see all of the things that we had to do and the points that are associated with it. 21st Century Educator, this is a really, really good initiative, and thank you for introducing me to this app. I will definitely be using it in my classroom come September. Well, that's just right around the corner. Thank you also for making me bring out my creative juices right before school starts. It was amazing. It was fun.
I enjoyed it. It's been fun for me so far. It gives me something to look forward to each day, waking up and saying, all right, which mission am I going to complete? No, what am I going to do? What can I do? Even though I have other businesses taken care of, what is new me? What can I do? I just like that.
It's a brilliant idea. The app itself is super easy and user-friendly. The challenges were exciting. They forced me to think creatively, to be reflective, and to go beyond my comfort zone. And it was in a space that was, nice and friendly competition. It really was a wonderful experience. Thank you, Goosechase. It was just awesome. I really, really, really enjoyed every minute of it. I would recommend Goosechase to anyone. Thanks.
Participating in Goosechase was fun. I really enjoyed the different missions. It gave me an opportunity to explore my creativity while having fun with friends and family. And I also enjoyed seeing the different submissions from the other participants. It was quite energizing, and I look forward to others in the future. I really want to thank 21st Century Educators for this. It was quite enjoyable.
This Goosechase experience has been amazing. It was exciting. It was relaxing. And most importantly, I see where I can actually infuse some excitement in my classroom with this as a game, but also as a learning experience.
So it definitely taught me something that I definitely want to
over
use.
Trinidad looking for monuments, and it is bringing me out of myself. So you know what? 100 to Goosechase.
Brilliant and innovative. And so much so, one of the favorite things I like to do is check the activity board, see who's done what, and then check the leaderboard. to see
So
if
this
they are-
is the first time I've actually tried Goosechase, and it was very much exciting. I think it's something that I may want to use with my own students. So thank you for introducing me to Goosechase. I really.
This has been an enjoyable experience and I really enjoyed taking part in all the challenges.
As I'm in the midst of applying for residency right now.
We're gonna stop that. Every time I see that video, I cannot help but smile. It gets me so excited to know that all of you enjoyed it, or at least I hope most of you did. And knowing that everyone has already experienced the Goosechase life, we wanted to really focus today's presentation on gamification and how you can implement that into the classrooms, into your everyday life with your faculty and teammates, and kind of change the way education and learning is currently being done. After all, this is 21st century educators. I'm just gonna share my screen in full. And with that, we can get things started. Welcome to the Goosechase presentation on gamification. So, quick reminder, my name is Shara, account executive for the K-12 category, and with me presenting today is Erin. At any point in today's presentation, if you did want to reach out to us, our emails are here. You'll also be receiving a copy of today's presentation. So if you don't catch everything, don't worry, you can have your own copy to comb through. Just to give you a quick breakdown of what you can expect in today's presentation, we're going to chat about what is gamification, implementing it, gamifying education. We're going to take you through a really quick Goosechase demo, as well open the floor up for some Q&A. First things first, we're going to start off with what is gamification? It is this really fancy word that I've personally started to hear over the last couple of years. So after doing a little bit more research, we kind of came up with a definition that we think kind of embodies what exactly gamification does, especially in the education sector. Long story short, gamification is the use of game design elements and principles in non-game contexts. Basically, we're gamifying experiences that traditionally aren't really seen as a game or engaging type of experience. Gamification can be shown effective in 3 different ways. First one is education, obviously, implementing it in the classroom, in the districts, outside of school. Over the last couple of years, we've really seen a shift with virtual learning and e-learning, where gamification has really been used to grasp students' interest and keeping them more engaged with learning. And then, of course, gamification, we have seen a rise with enterprise organizations using it to train new employees, gamify that HR experience, and just kind of create a sense of community among all 3 categories, really. One of the things that really makes gamification popular is how accessible it is. Using platforms like Goosechase, you can play on a mobile device, a tablet, Chromebook, or even compatible operating systems, and still get that experience you're looking for when it comes to being engaging, fun, exciting, new. So how does gamification work? It works for a couple of reasons, and we're really going to get into the psychology of it a little bit, but on the surface. One, it plays into the basic needs, giving players that feel of autonomy, a sense of value and confidence, and just exciting them on playing and being part of something. Games can be social, create that sense of community, and really harness healthy competition, friendly battles between participants. It gives players control of what they're doing, what they're learning, and taking them through that journey. And lastly, it encourages ongoing engagement. As educators, I'm sure you're all very familiar with keeping your students engaged and excited with what you're teaching them, keeping them inspired, and gamification through Goosechase can definitely do that for you, as you've all experienced in your game experience. In terms of implementing gamification, we've seen it be done in a couple different ways. Here are just some top 5 popular uses of using gamification. The first one is giving points for meeting goals and objectives. We've seen a lot of schools or just organizations in general leverage point systems to motivate their employees, their students, and get them out and about doing things. Next, it creates playful barriers and friendly competition. Especially growing up in a school environment, it's kind of hard to really put yourself out there and learn what kind of person you are. Are you a competitive person? Are you someone who kind of sits on the sidelines? Are you the cheerleader? It can really help break those barriers and figure out who you are in a game or in an experience. Number 3, it can help compare and reflect on personal performance. It's a unique way of gathering feedback and insights on how you can enhance future programs, future experiences. Number 4, it can be used as a method of progression, tracking growth, tracking goals, just kind of keeping players on track on what their next steps are. And then lastly, number 5, developing new perspectives in a person or environment. You really get to learn about the kind of participants you're playing with or an environment that you're working in or visiting. And really, gamification implements all these different things and so many more. And we're happy to go a little bit more deeper into that later on. Next, I'm going to pass it off to Erin, who's really going to hone it in with how gamification is used in education.
Thanks, Shara. That was really exciting. I hope you guys are all excited as well. So let's jump into looking at gamification in education. It's actually becoming increasingly used in educational settings for a number of reasons. In short, it makes the hard stuff more fun. I think that's one of the key takeaways here. And it really helps to motivate students and make them more engaged with the subject matter. So gamification in learning involves using game-based elements. That would include things like point scoring, peer competition, teamwork, and even scoring tables to help drive engagement. But gamification in education is amazing in so many ways. It helps students assimilate new information. It helps them test their knowledge. It can also help solve common challenges that you as educators face. Regardless of grade level, teachers face similar issues when it comes to motivating students and influencing classroom behaviors. Every student learns differently. Every student comes from a unique background, and every student has different interests. Accommodating all those different types of students can definitely be tough, but gamifying education helps to break those barriers down when it comes to learning, because it has the ability to appeal to all students, regardless of their personality or their likes and dislikes. And Shara, if you can hop to the next slide, please. Now we'll take a look at just some of the amazing benefits of gamified education. There are so many, way more than we could probably fit into this presentation. So for now, we'll dive into our favorite 5 benefits. By leveraging design elements and principles found in games, educators can increase student engagement. Fending off boredom is a typical concern for K-12 educators, but gamification's superpower lies in making the learning process more enjoyable. It's also highly motivating. Gamified challenges and reward-based learning really help to encourage students to complete the assignment on time. Earning points and seeing your position on the leaderboard improve as you progress is in its own very inspiring and promotes a sense of accomplishment. Gamified learning also provides incentives for learning to pay attention and complete activities. So game mechanics, such as rewards and competition, those kind of things trigger dopamine release in the brain, making the learning process far more enjoyable. Because of this, students actually have the opportunity to become hooked on learning and mastering new skills as they complete the activities that you've presented for them. It also helps provide a healthy environment for communication and collaboration. And it does this by encouraging students to solve problems collaboratively. So kind of a step up from traditional group work. By using gamification as a team building activity, you're actually encouraging students to get to know each other a little bit better, all while teaching them how to trust in the team. And if you can hop to next slide. So benefit number 2, it increases retention and increases desire to learn. How does it do that? Gamified is essentially an experience-based learning process, and it has the power to fully engage and hold the attention of learners. It inspires a positive frame of mind about the learning process, and by forming the important association of particular pieces of knowledge to particular rewarding or fulfilling experiences, it actually enhances retention and long-term memory. So definitely a win, I think. Not only do learners learn quicker and better, but they're also able to more easily retain and recall relevant knowledge when they need it later on. It empowers the least ready students to learn at their own pace, really giving them the feeling that they're in control of their learning, which helps to increase their desire to learn. It also rewards encourage better observation. So when a learner is focused, they're actually more likely to absorb the information that's being presented. And finally, it empowers educators to accommodate a variety of learning styles: visual, auditory, physical, verbal, logical, social, independent, really allowing students to participate in a way that feels comfortable, which trying to accommodate all these different learning styles in your classrooms is probably a challenge as it is. So if you can use gamification to make things a little bit easier and make everybody feel involved, I definitely say why not. So gamification, as you can see, is an extremely effective strategy for ensuring that students remember what they learn well after the end of their courses. Benefit number 3, it connects learning to the real world. With gamified learning, it gives you the power to create hands-on learning programs that get your students involved to explore and interact with the environment around them. As an educator, gamification allows you to incorporate active learning techniques by having students engage with learning content more actively. By creating gamified learning programs that actively engage students with course material in a more hands-on way, you're encouraging them to be present and connect to the real world. So in addition to making learning more fun, gamification in education is also a really excellent way to connect lessons to real-world problems and applications. The rewards and challenges of gamified learning create a risk-free environment in which students can learn how to apply the knowledge or skills that they're gaining. It actually also reinforces traditional learning methods by giving students the opportunity to apply their knowledge to real-life situations. And when they're called upon to use these skills in real life later on, students will better understand how they're able to apply those skills successfully. Number 4, gamification provides instant feedback and reinforcement. When students are learning through game-like interactive play, they receive feedback on their answers instantly. This allows wrong answers to be corrected quickly, while right answers are rewarded with positive reinforcement. What this does is really create some more relaxed atmosphere in regards to failure, since learners can simply try again if they got it wrong. It also allows you as educators to reward students for the behaviors you want to see in them. With reward-based learning, students never have to wait to find out how well they're doing or how they can improve. This positive reinforcement encourages them to keep going, even if they got it wrong the first time, or even if it takes them several times to get it right. So getting feedback in real time and offering positive reinforcement is hugely beneficial to the learning experience and enjoyment of the process. Feedback plays an important role in learning and development. We learn faster and much more effectively when we have a really clear sense of how well we are doing and what we might need in order to improve. And last but not least, gamification makes the learning process more enjoyable. For the K-12 sector, I find it's really important that the knowledge imparted makes a lasting difference. With gamified learning, the whole experience receives a facelift. Learners can take advantage of the experience and situation-based learning to develop themselves better. It also has the power to fully engage and hold the attention of students. When learning is gamified, it doesn't feel like learning. I think I love that aspect the most, is students are just having so much fun and they're engaging and interacting not only with each other, but with the course material inside and outside of the classroom, that they don't even realize what you're teaching them is actually sticking with them. And then the interactive element, of course, will ensure students feeling involved at all times. It brings the participation element to the table and ensures that learners are becoming more invested towards the learning process. The immersive experience, of course, also makes things super fun and exciting. Now, that's it for now for just some of the benefits of gamified learning. I'd like you to really think of other benefits that we haven't chatted about today so that we can open that up later on in the Q&A session. But for now, I'm going to pass you back over to Shara as she has something really fun in store for you.
Yeah, thank you, Erin. And of course, we can't do a whole presentation on gamification without actually running a game, a Goosechase experience. This experience is going to be a little different in the sense that you don't actually have to play right now, but what we were hoping to do is, since most of you got the experience of how to use the platform from a participant perspective, we wanted to give you the idea of what the back end looks like. So when you are going in and testing it out and running it for your classroom experiences with your students or faculty, you kind of have a good idea of what to expect. So this is what the back end looks when you're designing your game. One of the first steps that you'll do is set your details. You can add a photo, create your name, a description of what players can expect when they join the game. You also have the option to add a location. So let's say you're creating an experience that requires players to be at a specific place. You can include that here. And then, of course, you can always password protect your game. And basically, when you password protect your game, what you're saying here is you only want a selected group of members joining your game who have access to the password. When your game is not password protected, what that means is you are creating a public game that anybody can view and join and experience with you. Next, we go into missions. Now, the missions we designed here aren't necessarily designed for you to go in and play, but more for you to learn and understand what the missions are available to you and how you can utilize them. The most popular mission that we see in most Goosechase experiences is a photo or video-based mission. And that's essentially giving participants the opportunity to take a picture of this, take a video of that, and kind of creating that sense of engagement, fun, interactive experiences. You also have the ability to learn more about mission types in the support links that we've included in this game. Another really great resource for you is the Goosechase blog. Our blog is designed for many different verticals that we work with, but we have one specially for the EDU audience. And in our blog, we demonstrate things on how to grasp student engagement, fun and easy educational games to keep students engaged. We focus on high school, we work with districts, we show you how online students are using the platform. It is a bucket of different resources you can comb through. Another really cool thing about the EDU blog is you do have access to our EDU library. And essentially what our EDU library is, it's a collection of games that teachers from all over the world have given us permission to share with other educators to help inspire their next Goosechase experience. And you can also find a link attached in this Goosechase demo that we've created for you. And here are just a bunch of different experiences ranging from math to home scavenger hunts, amazing races, you name it, you can probably find it in one of these categories. And what's really cool about the library is that you can find games that are designed for what you're looking to teach, and then you can implement it into your own experiences. So let's say you don't have the time to create a game from scratch, you can just copy and paste some of these found in the EDU library. Another thing we really want educators to go out and do is create your own Goosechase experience. As teachers, you do have the ability to test the platform out for free with up to 5 teams or individual players. You can do that by creating an account online. And once again, we have created a link there for you. Another mission that you could also execute in your Goosechase experience is a GPS mission. And essentially what a GPS mission is you can set exact coordinates or a specific address for players to physically go and visit while they're in your Goosechase experience. From there, once they're within the general radius, the app will pick up that they have found the location that you have set, and they can collect points once they found it. In this case, I've set the location for my players to go to the Port of Spain ferry terminal in Trinidad and Tobago. Once players are there, the app will say, hey, you found the accepted location. Here are 1,000 points for doing that. Usually GPS missions are a great way to get players out and about, exploring different communities, different buildings and spaces. In an educational section, we've seen GPS missions be used to help parents learn the school building, different departments, meet new faculty members on where to find them. We've seen teachers gamify field trips and having them going out and about, learning and performing specific tasks and activities while they're on the field trip. And of course, we've seen GPS missions be used as a designated checkpoint for players to gather or start an event or end it. Another really cool mission that is really popular, especially when running educational games, is text-based missions. And basically what a text-based mission does is that it allows you to educate your participants by sharing resources and encouraging them to perform some type of action online or outside of the classroom. When you're creating missions, you can also encourage them to watch videos or read articles, as you do have the ability to attach third-party links into your game. And when you attach third-party links, what happens is you take your players outside of the game to perform some type of action there. In a school setting, we've seen teachers set third-party links and have students watch a video and then come back into the game and answer 3 questions on what they learned from watching that video. Or maybe there's a story that you want players to read and then come back and tell us what happened in the story or what is the favorite part of that story. And then lastly, I know we covered quite a bit, and if you didn't quite get everything, do not worry. You are more than welcome to submit a Goosechase inquiry. And then what would happen is Erin or myself will reach out and we can always dive in a little deeper on how schools are using this, how educators are using the platform, and work with you on how to bring this into your school. Oh, give me 1 second. Let me share my screen back. Awesome. On that note, I'm going to pass things off to Erin, who's going to go a little bit more into some ideas and inspirations on how the Goosechase experiences kind of come to be.
Awesome. Thank you for that demo, Shara. That was really exciting. We could only put in so many ideas and inspiration into this presentation. Like Shara said, connecting with us, we can really dig deep into the different things that you're looking to do, into your own vision, and really sharing ideas and stories that might fit or resonate with what you're looking to do. But for now, here are some of the biggest ways that we have our educators using Goosechase. So number one, teaching interactive lessons. You can keep your students on their feet quite literally and encourage active learning every day, kind of drawing back into all the benefits of gamification that we chatted about earlier. You can take the learning off-site too. You don't have to keep it just inside the classroom. So a really fun way that we're seeing Goosechase be used is on school field trips to enhance that experience and turn it into an even more interactive experience for the students. So if there are, say you're going to a museum or a science center and there are specific exhibits that you want the students to visit, that you want them to interact with, you can navigate them around exhibits of your choice by creating missions relative to those missions and then getting them to interact with them in a really fun way. So maybe there's a cool dinosaur exhibit. You can have students take silly photos with the dinosaurs in the background, taking selfies maybe of anything close that they can get to. Of course, getting them to do a video of their best dinosaur impression is always fun. And then you can toss in some text missions to really quiz them on what they've learned and make sure that they're not just having fun, but they're actually learning some content as well. You can do the same kind of things with outdoor education, maybe getting them to explore local wildlife. If it's safe, probably flora might be better. So getting them to really find different trees or different flowers or plant life that's around. And then of course, it's always great for virtual classrooms if you do need to do any remote learning, which hopefully we won't have to do any of that anytime soon. But if you should have to for any reason, it's really great to use Goosechase that way as well. While we're on that topic, Shara, I'll kind of bounce it back to you. Are there any ideas or ways you've seen educators using Goosechase beyond some of the ideas I've chatted about?
One of my favorite examples that I've seen a school use it is they partnered with the student council and yearbook committee, partnered together to create a Goosechase experience that created a more sense of community with students, getting them out and about and being more proactive with school spirit, trying different things, coming out of their comfort zones. And then what they did was they took all the photos from that experience and put it in their yearbook and school website. So I always thought that was a really fun and engaging way that a school used the platform. Another really unique case use is for health and wellness. Sometimes the PE teachers will use the platform to host health and wellness initiatives. Librarians will use it to host reading challenges and get students more aware of the different types of literature to check out. We've seen it be used for professional development and having teachers kind of break that ice when getting to know each other and gamifying that onboarding experience of learning a new school. We've seen the platform be used by parent committees who will use the platform to host fundraising initiatives and generate extra revenue for the school. Another really great case uses you can find are always on our Goosechase blog that kind of highlights different experiences. And of course, just going back to our quick demo, if there is something that you missed in today's lecture or presentation, you can always find a copy of our presentation here under shared resources, under the shared resource missions, where you can download today's presentation and kind of dive a little deeper or recap whatever we learned today. Another really cool thing since we are here is in the platform, you do have the ability to see the activity feed. And now, right now, our activity feed, there's nothing to see here. So we really do encourage all the participants joining today's lecture to go in, test the platform out, and fill that activity feed. Let's start creating our community in our Goosechase experience. From there, we can see who is number one on that leaderboard, as well as all of the submissions that will be generated in this game. Now, when you are creating your own personal experiences for your schools, just so you know, all of the content that is generated in your game belongs to you. We will never go into your Goosechase experience and use that data without your permission. So at the end of your experience, you do have the ability to download everything, all the submissions that have been created, and then all the submissions that have been created and use it for your own internal purposes, whether you want to share that in the school newsletter, put it on the website, or just keep it for memories later down in the future. Next, we're going to open the floor for some Q&A and answer any questions that might have come up or you guys are thinking about and kind of provide some clarity there.
Hi, Shara. I think it'll be good if you can go over how we can access the game.
Yes, of course. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share these details in the Zoom chat where you guys can go in and join the experience. Just a quick recap, if you didn't get a chance to join the 21st Century game previously, what you have to do is download the Goosechase app onto your phone. You can either create a new Goosechase account or you can sign in as a guest. From there, you can enter the experience 6D5K85, or you can search for the game, use 21st Century Educators. From there, you can create a profile, and then lastly, enter your name and photo and start completing those missions and exploring the different resources that we have available. I'll also send a quick copy of that into the chat channel as well. Any other questions?
So we can go to our participants. If you have any questions or comments, we can go ahead and share those at this time. I am seeing some of the persons who participated, some of them did not. So I don't know if you have any specific questions. Feel free to let us know. I am going to allow them to unmute.
One thing I learned talking to teachers for the last 2 years is that you guys are not shy. So bring it on. Let us know what you are thinking and how we can help with your Goosechase experiences in your classrooms.
So I just unmuted their microphone, so you can go ahead and unmute if you have a question or comment. So I'm probably going to put Anika on the spot because Anika was one of our participants. So Anika, I don't know if you want to share your experience a little bit, or how you plan to use it in your classroom if you have any questions, or anybody else would like to ask a question. So I don't think we have, and I'm seeing Riel here as well. Oh, she's saying she can't unmute. Could you ask this? Let me see. Let me ask you something. You should be able to now.
Thank you.
Sure.
I got you. Okay. Now I'm a chemistry teacher, so I was actually just, and I know you all they said that on the platform there are like trivia and stuff. So it's just my thing is in coming up with the activities. So that's I think would have been my biggest challenge, because as we went through the experience, I've been trying to think of, okay, what are some of the chemistry things that can I do a topic?
Do I do like an entire term's work? So it's just the whole idea of trying to trash it through in my head, bring it through in my head, how exactly I come up with the challenges. And I'm glad for the opportunity that they said that they do have some there available. So maybe that's a nice, I appreciate that. That might be a good starting place. And then of course, with that experience, I might be able to create my own challenges as I go along. So that's one of the things that I was really glad to hear, that they do have some things available already, so that we could probably just use that to start off and then build and create our own challenges.
One of my favorite things that I've heard a teacher tell me is that she doesn't give her kids homework anymore. She gives them goosework instead. So it's definitely a great fun way to gamify your homework experience, especially with subjects like chemistry. You can kind of, usually when kids go outside of the classroom, they don't want to be thinking about school anymore. So I would recommend, if you are stuck with creating ideas, check out our game library, see if any of that is relevant to the experience you're trying to launch. And of course, you do have access to our amazing customer support team, as well as Erin and myself, who's always available to help you guys brainstorm any ideas and kind of get the ball rolling with you.
Thank you.
If anyone would like to ask a question, just put it in the chat, because I'm not sure. Some of you seem not to be able to unmute. So you can just pop it in the chat and I will click for you to unmute. But I can share in the meantime, one of the things I really liked about Goosechase as a teacher was the teamwork, the ability for the team to work together. So even in a classroom where you may have limited phones or limited Wi-Fi, if you just have like one phone per team, it still means everybody gets to participate and everybody still has fun. So, I really like that you can participate in teams as well. And I think maybe you can explain a little bit the difference between the teams and how the individuals work. I think that would be helpful.
Yeah, I can jump in on that. The main difference between solo mode and in team mode is mainly how your experience will be launched. When you're playing in solo mode, what you're doing is you're setting your game up in a way where every single player in your game is responsible for completing all of the missions that you've set and their own personal score. However, in team mode, what that does is it allows participants to play together as a team and have one final team score. So let's say me and Erin are on the same team and I decide I'm going to do missions 1, 2, and 3. I've then completed those 3 missions on behalf of both of us for our team. However, Erin could jump in and do 4, 5, and 6 for our team. Now, if you want to avoid the case where players in a team are dividing and conquering the missions separately, and you want to have more of a collaborative experience, what you could do is always write a little disclaimer in your missions saying this mission must be completed with 2 or more team members in the photo. That way it encourages participants and teams to work together for that final team score. But yes, that would be the main difference between playing as an individual as well as playing in a team.
I think we may have had Leanne drop off. So if there are any more questions, feel free, if you're able to unmute yourself, just jump in. Doesn't matter if you accidentally interrupt us, that's totally okay. It's Zoom, it happens. Feel free to pop questions into the chat. Kind of, bouncing off the ideas that Shara and I were talking about. I love that yearbook one. That's one of my favorite ways that our schools and student groups are using Goosechase. But it's also really fun and kind of leaning into taking things outside of the classroom. You can really run experiences that are linking students to your community, getting them to immerse themselves more in their community, learning about heritage, learning about culture, maybe visiting different cultural spots, whether that be museums, checking out local artists, and having them think that way about the world that they live in and really engaging within that community and feeling more part of it than, you know, just being a student. You can also use Goosechase over the summer. Reading clubs. That's a really fun way that teachers will create experiences to run over the summer. So they'll run some reading clubs. You might also, another really fun way that I've seen it that, you know, you could do as well, new students. It's kind of really nerve-wracking to join a new school. You don't know anybody, you don't know the building, you don't know the lay of the land, you don't know what resources are important to you. So you could also create kind of new student orientation Goosechase experiences to get them used to and immersed with the school before the first day of school has even happened.
And in the meantime, I just sent the game instructions for everyone who is interested to join and take a peek at. But while I also have you, I always like to show this one game that's not really educational related, but I'm always so excited to show it because I think it really captures the capabilities of what game creators can do in and outside the classroom and kind of generate really fun experiences, educational or not. It's a good memory to have. This is a pet pageant show that our company put together. And what I really love about this is just a really different way of using the platform. And this might be something that can inspire an extracurricular in the school. Maybe you wanted to have a school talent show. Why not turn it into a Goosechase experience? So here what we did was we created 5 missions for players to complete. And then from there, in the activity feed, this is what it looks like from the back end of how these missions look. And I hope we have some animal lovers because this activity is filled with cats, dogs, and I think that's all everyone has in terms of pets. No one has anything cool like a lizard or a snake. But this is what a text mission would look like when answering text-based missions. This is what a photo-based mission would look like. Let's say you really liked the energy or the creativity that a student or participant put into a game. One of the things you can do is you can always add bonus points. Bonus points is a great incentive to getting people more engaged and excited when playing. When I mentioned before with the leaderboard, this is how the leaderboard would look. It would highlight all of the teams in your game, what their points score is, as well as where they're ranking. Another really cool feature is you do have the ability to send messages in your game, either to all the participants or an individual. Usually this will come in handy if you wanted to give a quick reminder to players, letting them know, hey, you have 10 minutes to finish up the game, or maybe you wanted to give a quick shout out to a specific player for their participation. You can also manually adjust your scores here, depending on what the need. Let's say you had a specific player that was going above and beyond, and you just wanted to give them some general bonus points. You can award that here. Maybe you have a student that isn't necessarily following the rules. You can also remove points off of their score by adding a minus sign to the points. And then that will take it away from the leaderboard. Here under remove a team, you can also remove players or teams in your experience. Maybe you have a player that joined the wrong team or isn't supposed to be in your game. You can always control who is participating in your experience. And then this is kind of what the submission box would look like. This is kind of a hub where all of your missions are in. You can group them by mission. You can group them by teams. And then here you can kind of go individually into every player and see what that specific player has done in the game. So in this case, the naked cats, here are all the missions that are here. I always love showing off the naked cat images because I think it's so interesting. Look at that. Have any of you ever seen a naked cat before? If not, this is what they look like. And apparently they feel like velvet. So in a case like this, I would definitely add some bonus points to the naked cats just for being so beautiful and unique looking. And of course, under the download button, you can download all of your images. Now, as educators, we know that you guys love your data. If there is anything data specific you are looking for in your game, you can find that under the dashboard. And what the dashboard does, it just highlights very basic analytics of what's happening in your game. Here, it will show you the total number of participants, what your average completion rate is. You can see which missions are the most popular. So if you did want to pivot your game to be more of a specific type of mission, you can kind of figure that out here. Here you can see which players are the most engaged in your game. This is a really great way to add additional bonus points and kind of incentivize players to continue interacting in your experience. Here you can see which submissions are the most liked, when they're being completed as well. This gives you a very general breakdown of all of your missions, who they're being completed by, as well as a timestamp. So let's say you wanted to award some extra points for players who finished a specific mission first. You can find that out here. And everything is available to be downloaded. So you can always put it in an Excel file and edit the data to your liking and present it to the upper management if you wanted to take your Goosechase experience to the next level and have it be used on a school-wide or district-wide basis. Erin, did I miss anything?
No, that was amazing. The dashboard, yeah, that's my favorite tool, and I use it for the exact same things, turning out mission popularity. That's massive, helps you a lot with planning out your future experiences. I have had a question that was sent directly to me. What are the limitations of the product? There are not any. There's no limitation to the way that you can use Goosechase. The sky is the limit. If you can dream up the idea, then you can build it into Goosechase. So we've chatted about a lot of different ideas. I don't think we mentioned, it was on the slide, but we really didn't mention, school spirit days or other school-wide events, maybe Halloween, or even fundraisers. Okay, so we have a question in the chat. How can this be used in a library setting? That's a great question. I do have librarians that use Goosechase for a variety of reasons. So if you're looking at the educational part, it's a really great way to teach students how to navigate a library and how to find the resources that they're looking for.
But many, at least, were able to get some closure.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, you can make Goosechase experiences to teach students how to navigate a library. Maybe you want them to research a specific topic, whether it's because they have a project that they have to do, or you just kind of want to give them that knowledge in advance. It's a really great way to almost, make a treasure hunt, so to speak, or a scavenger hunt out of it, getting them to find certain books. A favorite I hear is popping in really difficult books to locate, just to throw that extra challenge in. And then reading clubs. That's a really common way libraries use Goosechase as well. Anything you can do that would help with literacy skills and generate excitement around reading. Maybe there's some students who don't like to read so much, and maybe it's just that they haven't found the types of books that they do like to read. So you could really build out your experiences in a way that helps those kind of students find something that they actually enjoy, and they might discover a hidden passion for reading and books they didn't know they had.
Another thing to add to Erin is a lot of teachers don't realize that they can use the platform outside of the school timelines. With the school-wide licenses, you do have access to it for 365 days. So if you do have long vacation, summer vacation, where students are off for long periods of time, you can always create Goosechase experiences that help make sure that they don't forget everything that they've learned after being on break for almost 2 months in the summer. And they've created Goosechase experiences that help students prepare for the following year, that curriculum, reading the course material to help them get ahead or in advance, just make them more prepared for the following year, as well as the health and wellness initiatives, creating community events, getting players out and about during those off seasons for school, and just making sure that students are keeping their minds active and healthy.
I just had another question sent to me. Can you have other teachers help build the experiences? Yes, we have an amazing co-managing feature. What that does is it allows you to invite other teachers using Goosechase to help co-manage the experience with you. What that means is they have full access to help build it out. They can add missions, delete missions, revise missions that are in there. And they can also help you keep an eye on things when the experience is live. So if you need help adding bonus points for certain things or checking work to make sure, if you're having students share photos, you want to make sure that they're doing the proper answer or following your instructions clearly, you can definitely use our co-managing feature. It is amazing.
Yeah, and of course, let's say you created an experience that you're very proud of and you want to share it with other teachers to run in their classrooms. You also have a game sharing feature where you can copy that experience and give it to another teacher to run their own individual experience with their class as well.
Okay, and I think we probably have time for one more question. If anybody else has one more question you'd love for us to answer, we're happy to. Give it a little bit more time, just in case. Okay, if nothing's coming in, there's one thing I wanted to say. I think one of my favorite stories that I hear, or that I've heard, I guess from several educators, is how delightful it is when their Goosechase experiences help, especially with more shy students, to get them to step outside of their comfort zone and start to interact not only with their peers, but with the world around them. I've been told that's such a rewarding experience for them to see. And I think that's the one that kind of sticks in my heart the most.
And I can certainly attest to that as a teacher, using it both for not just students, but adults. It really does make a huge difference in terms of how you get persons to participate and learn. And, I just had a little power outage, so I was off for a while. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? But it's all good. And I do believe one or two of our persons who are on may have experienced the same. So it's good because you can see it on Facebook. It will be recorded, and we will also be sending it out later on via email for those of you who missed it. So you will still be able to get it. And as Shara mentioned, you can get access to the presentation when you go into the actual Goosechase. So I would really like to thank Erin, Shara, and Katie, who remained incognito behind the scenes, for a wonderful experience, not just today, but in really getting the Goosechase experience happening with us in August. They were really, really very helpful. And I do think it is something that we will be doing again based on the feedback from our educators. And so we look forward to our future experiences with Goosechase and with Shara, Erin, and Katie. So that's it for now. And remember, we do have another session coming up once a month. So look out for our next session, and we will continue to bring, professional development to you. So thank you very much for being here with us, and bye-bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Sorry for coming late. I had a class, Leanne.
That's okay.
Okay. Okay.